Hello, my name is Dave Persons. I want to talk to you a few minutes about the Christ mind. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, it has the Apostle Paul saying that we do not have the mind of the world, but rather we have what he calls the Christ mind within us. What is that? Well, I think of it as our very essence, not of our bodies, but of spirit, the part of God within us. Call it divinity, call it the Atman, whatever the tradition may say it is. But that's who we are. Our bodies are just temporary vessels, temples where we live with that awareness hopefully within us, but still it is not our true selves. Now to understand that, it takes a whole life, and it's, in a sense it's beyond our understanding. But we can grow in it by reading sacred scriptures from our own traditions, from other traditions which speak about that. In fact, many of the stories in our own Christian traditions were around for thousands of years before they became written down and became a part of our own upbringing and education. But by reading those, we can gain a deeper understanding through the stories and the parables and the examples of what that spirit really involves. The essence of it, as many have taught, is simply love and kindness and forgiveness. It's complete in itself. It needs nothing but that deep awareness, especially when the body becomes old and sick and loses many of its functions and dies, because it's that part which is eternal and goes on. And we all know that on one level or not. We know that this body is slowly decaying, slowly going away, but there's also a part of us in times of silence when we realize that it's eternal. It's beyond name. It's beyond definition. It's beyond understanding. That part, that itness, that Christ mind, Christ presence is who we are. We can call it then that we are a son of God or that we are a daughter of God, but in our essence, we're all one with that which is eternal. Another way that we can more deeply appreciate it is to simply meditate and reflect on it each day in silence, by not doing anything necessarily, but by just being still. And as the Hebrew verse goes, you will know that I am God. It's one of the most powerful, simple, and accessible ways for any of us just to take a deep breath and to be still and to realize that oneness around you at all times. You probably have all heard of the movie The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, the book too. I've read and seen them. The disappointing part of me for that was that it's all about getting more things, about getting a bigger house and more income and a better job and living in a better part of the country. The visualization in meditation that I'm talking about is just the sense of completeness being within you, that you have everything. You can be at peace, whether you have abundance or whether you have little, whether you're free or whether you're in prison, whether you are of the chosen race of your particular culture, or whether you're a minority, whether your skin is black or white, whether you're man or woman or whatever, gay, straight. There's a part of us which is beyond all that, which is eternal. It's peace and it's love, and that's who we are. And so by meditating, we learn to see ourselves as a part of it and to experience it as who we are. A young man went to a great teacher once and wanted to learn how to meditate. And so he took him to a little hut and he said, stay here an hour and just visualize that you are a big Brahma bull. So he came back in a couple hours. He was a little late, and the teacher said, you can come out now. And the young man said, well, I can't because my horns won't fit through the door. And the master said, well, I think you're getting the idea of what meditation is all about. When we sit and meditate of that oneness that we have with the eternal God, sometimes it can be so overwhelming. We feel so much at love and at oneness with everything that we have a feeling that nothing would ever put us down. But then we go about our daily business and we have our tests that come upon us so often. And in our daily walks is where the test really comes. Every encounter with a person, with an event in life, is a test of our ability to identify with that which is eternal love. Spouses, parents, children, neighbors, colleagues where we work, any place we run into people or read stories about people is a test of our ability to let go of that which is transient and ephemeral and to hang on to that which is eternal. It's a difficult thing to overcome, but if we can realize that the part of us which is the Christ mind is inviolate, is eternal, it can give us the strength, because it's a contradiction to say that, power and love oppose anything, because if they do, they lose their power, they lose their love, and there is no such thing as a hateful love or as a weakened power. And we are that full power and full love in our essence. And it's our identifying it with the weakness of the body and the weakness of trying to understand the life in the world, which is beyond understanding, where we have to come back and to realize again that that's not what we are. It's a spirit not of this world, but of of our our deepest selves, given to us by God in Paul's words. So I trust that you will walk your daily lives in peace and realize that you have that mind. There was once a story of a man that went to a great master to try to learn how to live also in peace and deep love. And so he stayed several days with him. Several years went by. And finally he said, I think I got it. I have an understanding of who I am. And I've had the experience of that oneness that I want to go back and teach love and peace to the people of the world. So just before he left the place, the master met him at the gate, and of course the student thanked him and wanted to bless him. But the master said, well, I need to tell you something. I've watched you since you've been here, and I don't think you've learned a thing. In fact, you couldn't stay awake in any of our meditations. And as far as the sacred books and the ideas we gave you, you couldn't comprehend or understand any of them. How do you think you're going to go out into the world? Well, the young man was overwhelmed with grief and horror at the accusations, and he began to cry and said, I can't believe you say that about me. And he went on and wailing, and the master simply said, well, because you have that very defensive and afraid, insecure spirit, I suggest that you come back and stay with us a few more years and then go out again and try it. Reminds me sometimes of how I and others felt in seminary. We couldn't wait to get out and get in a church, but boy, when we got out and got into the church, they get out and get after us, and we needed some more experience and understanding. May you, as you contemplate and read the scriptures daily, read books about who we are as that eternal spirit. And as you meditate upon these, and as you serve and relate to others, may you find yourself becoming more forgiving and more kind, more deeply joyful and loving and hopeful toward all. God give you that courage, that desire, and that peace. Amen and namaste to you all.